Hey everybody, it's ASIC Eric and Populous because I sent him home. As promised from the last video, let's talk about the Camaro. Alright, so we are done with the fan project, so now we're getting back to work on the car next week. So here's the current state of affairs. So we have two new fenders on the car, both of which need minor body work on them. We gotta finish up these corners, get all this stuff happy. The hood is pretty much stripped. As you saw in the earlier video, we've rust treated the other side. It still needs to be primed on both sides with epoxy. Core support needs to be stripped, epoxied, etc. The upper and lower valances are both in the same state. They need to be stripped. They're both very clean in terms of the exterior. They don't really need much in the way of body work. Some minor scratches and stuff maybe. The lower valance, I think you can see from here, we've got the busted mounts down there, so I got to do something about that potentially. I have the plastic lower scoop that goes on there instead of the one that was on here, so I don't need to really do anything with that. So I'll lay that on there and see what needs to be rebuilt, but just clean it up at least, if nothing else. We don't have these busted pieces of fiberglass down there. Both of the inner fender wells still need to be stripped. Firewall is done mostly. The rest of the car is done in terms of major body work. So the question is, what should I do next? My plan was to go ahead and do all the final body work on the car. So basically, do what needs to be done on these guys with body work and the hood and everything. Put everything back together, basically. Do the body work on what you can see here. Get everything finished, all the panels, the final alignment done and everything. And then go through and put all the alignment holes on the hinges and fenders and everything so that when we blow it apart, it'll all go back together the right way. So basically get all that body work done, get it in final prime, 2K primer, etc. So it's all ready to go. This is where things get fuzzy for me. So the inside of the fender wells need to be primed and treated and all that stuff, so they have to come off for that. As I mentioned, these things need to be dealt with still. So I'm wondering what the best course of action is here. Is it best to blow this front end apart again and get all this front end stuff in epoxy, finished, relatively finished in epoxy, so we can actually do final body work on it? At that point, would that also be a good time to treat the inside of the fenders, get those done, so that the next time we put the car back together, the insides of all that stuff is finished, and then we're just doing final prime on the outside, or what? I'm kind of stuck right there. And of course, the whole car, we have to go over the whole car again with 2K primer. This is just epoxied. So I gotta, gotta sand the car down. It's in, I don't know, 180, I think, generally everywhere. So I gotta sand the whole car down, probably put a fresh coat of epoxy on everything, and then put the 2K over that. And then we can do final body work on the rest of the car. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling here, so I'm not really sure what to do, basically. That's the point of this. So, and the hood. It's easiest to paint the hood when it's on the car, possibly. I don't know. Let me know what you think. As with any of these things, I'm sure I'll get 1,000 different answers on this, but I'm kind of thinking the right answer here is to blow it apart again and get all this stuff done first, and then put it back together. I don't know. We're still fighting with panel alignment on this door and this fender here a little bit, so there's still some more work to be done there. And it's just one of these things, we've done this like 10 times, right? And then you blow it apart and you got to do it all over again the next time you put it together, because we're not putting the alignment marks in because we're not done. So it's kind of a pain. Every time you blow it apart, you got to go through that whole process again, which just sucks. Hopefully we don't need to take the doors off until final paint jamming and stuff like that. Hopefully they can stay put. But anyway, let me know what you all think. And then, of course, sorry, backing up a little bit more, we still have to do the vintage air, which has got to come through here. Is that okay to save that till the very end when the car's done? Or do I need to do that before I do the final body work and stuff? I think that's okay, because once we've done the final body work, we've got all the alignment holes, we can take the fenders off and they should theoretically go back in the same place. So we got the vintage air left to do. We haven't fired the engine, of course. So if we want to do that, then we've got to plumb in the fuel system and electrical and all that stuff, you know, at least to the point where we can fire it. There's no cooling system and stuff in here, obviously, so if we fire it, we can't leave it running for very long. Just, you know, long enough to say, hey, it fires, and then turn it off. So I'm not really sure that serves any purpose. But that's another one. So there's so much to do. Brake lines, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll take it from there. But we're looking forward to getting back on this and starting to make some progress on this. We're getting near to the finish line on the body, so I think I kind of want to get that wrapped up and do all the mechanicals last, but I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.